Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Hi,
Um, happy to see everyone. Um, Welcome back to Taboo Chronicles podcast. I'm Jackie, the Wellness Advocate,
Roberta, the tool lady.
and we have our guest.
Imana, Azeez, a women's confidence and life design coach.
All right.
Yeah, so we're back to continue our conversation on women empowerment because there was still lots to talk about, right?
Absolutely. No, that's a large, big subject.
Yes. So I thought that we could finish off time the TED Talk, just continue that on, and then start off the discussion from there as well.
Okay.
So
Sounds
we're
good.
gonna go ahead and I'm gonna share that here. And while I'm getting that pulled up, how is everyone doing?
Awesome.
All right. Well, I am feeling optimistic about tonight.
That's good. Good. Me too. Me too. And there's a lot of good things coming. I start, my new job Monday. Um, yes. And then Saturday was my husband's birthday. So I threw him a surprise party. So it was a very, very busy weekend.
Yeah.
So I think I'm still recuperating from all the heat because it was an outside party. No
Right.
pool, no drinks outside.
Right.
Yes. So let's go ahead and start this. Let me push play.
When it comes to confidence, we need to start small. And there are so many ways to help. Did you know that when you give a presentation, if you call on a woman first, this increases female participation by over 50%? There's a correlation between improved confidence just by asking someone's opinion or calling a woman by their name. Confidence is liquid gold, and we need to unlock it in women. And women need to ask, working hard, being smart, contributing more, all correlated with being recognized and rewarded. Just not so much for women. You know, when I got my first job in technology, I loved it. I was doing great. I was told I was doing great. I felt great about doing so great. In that first year, I got one of those forms from HR. It had information, it had my job description, it had the minimum, median, and maximum amount of compensation for my job. And as an outstanding, high-performing employee, I was making exactly $300 above the minimum amount allowed for my job.
I'm Millie, a content creator, coach, and business owner. If I had to start my business from zero, I would have focused on building out my...
I couldn't believe it. Are you kidding? I complained a lot to my husband, to my friends. Sort of same old talk points for me was like, oh, I need to be recognized. I deserved a promotion. All right. We're out with friends with one night. I'm on my same old, need to be recognized, deserve a promotion. My friend turns to me and says, Lori, why are you complaining to us? We can't help you. Go talk to your boss. That, of course, was some of the best advice I had ever received. And when I speak with women about what they want in their careers, I often hear things like, I want to do more, I want to learn more. But when pressed, do you want that window office? Are you making enough money? The answer is more often something like that. And look, I get it. it can be uncomfortable to talk about money or power or influence. And too often, women actually think that what they want is not negotiable, creating a further unnecessary disadvantage. So how can we help? We can help women be brave. We can tease out what women actually want, who they need to ask it to, and how they need to go about asking for it. Yes, women need to ask for what they want directly to the person who can give it to them. And last, women need more mentors. Having mentors is correlated with promotions, and perhaps not a surprise, men have significantly more senior mentors than women. I was recently speaking with a very accomplished executive, and when she started out in leadership, she did her own personal SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. From that, she developed a strategic mentor plan, and then she identified people who could help her. She then thought about how to get introduced to those people and what she could bring to the relationship. To this day, she continues to update this plan, and she credits those mentors with having had great impact on her success and advancement. Being an effective mentor, it means straight talk, real talk, sometimes being pushy, but building trust so that you can have those important conversations about confidence, so that you can practice how to ask. So how can we help? Be a mentor. Being a mentor is so important, and for men, this is where you can really help. Did you know that when men mentor women, it is not only effective, it is impactful? And women, please, be more than a role model. I mean, just to quote Madeleine Albright, there really is a special place in hell for women who do not help other women. We still have too few women in leadership, and we live in this complex world with significant challenges. Now, more than ever, we need amazing talent and diverse perspectives to solve them. Women make up half the resources in this world and half of its potential. Imagine unlocking that potential. So now what? Imagine starting right now. Women need 3 things. They need more confidence, they need to ask, they need more mentors. We can help build confidence by starting small. Asking means specifically going to the person who can help you, and mentoring, building trust so that you can have those important, vulnerable conversations. We can do all of these things right now, today. We still have too few women in leadership, and we need more women in leadership. And my 5th grade self knows women are capable of anything. Thank you.
So too.
All right, Lace. What do we think? I think there's a lot to delve into. And I know where we finished off last time was exactly this, talking about women needing to ask for help, right? Just in general. But I think in the workplace, I can speak for myself that I've always had difficulties with that. I don't know why, but I've been doing better at it. And I think it may have to do with the fact that in my mind, I'm like, I'm a woman and I said, I can do this. So I need to be able to do it without asking for any help. Just, and also me being, who I am, I also just never been one to ask for help. I'm like, I'll figure it out. Whether I get burned out or stressed out, I'm gonna figure it out. So I know I can say for myself that that's one thing I've been doing a whole lot better at.
Okay.
What do y'all think?
Well, for me, I can see how I like to ask for help. For one, I don't think it's so much of even the fact that we don't ask for help. I think it's also on the opposite side. Like she said, there's a certain place for women who don't help other women. So people who see you as competition or don't really offer that information or offer that help. I've been really blessed because I've had some really good mentors along my life that have changed how I see things or how I look at things. But I can certainly see how some situations that I didn't have that mentorship, and I had to figure it out myself. But I think having a mentor and having a woman who will feed into you, and not saying just someone, like she said, not someone you could just say, okay, you can look up to me. Not that person, but having someone you're teaching, you're getting to learn some from. They're handing you the ball or the torch to move on. I think that that means a whole lot. It meant a lot to me. When I was a young woman, single parent of 4 children, that meant a lot to me. Having that mentor say, hey, you can do this. This is what it takes. I see this in you. This is what you're going to do. And give me kind of a play for play of what to think and what to do. And so, what do you ladies think?
I don't know. Imana, are you trying to say something? You're muted if you are.
All right. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So, uh, like my brother said, and I absolutely agree with the video. Uh, we need a lot of mentors, and the reason why when she said we need more than just role models, because a role model tends to, especially when it comes to what is expected of us, we can see role models in women that are cooking. We can see role models in women that are doing what is expected of us, such as our moms, our sisters. However, when a mentor is someone who's going to teach you how to speak, teach you how to get places, and teach you to do things that are not what is normally expected. And I do believe that that is important in our society, especially when that is not what used to be around you, or when you're doing something that's different from everyone else that's around you. One of the reasons why I actually decided to become a coach was because I saw the lack of mentors for women. But we don't. Not only do they lack the knowledge and resources to know where to go, but not feeling like they know how to do it, or even if they're worthy. Because and as she had said, she felt that I'm supposed to have more than this, but can I actually speak to this person? And will they actually listen to me? So that's a confidence on a whole new level. You can feel like you're great, but then you want to shrink and make yourself, which is what society teaches women. We shrink and make ourselves small to fit into other people's spaces. And we need mentors and role models and guides and everyone else that comes before us and around us to show us that it's possible.
And
Yes.
I think it also goes with not just having mentors, but just having a circle of women who want each other to win. Because I think a lot of the times it's like we're in competition with each other, or as Roberta said, envious or jealous or what have you. And that's not how it should be. We should be supporting each other, and we should be congratulating one another when someone has a major win in their life, whether it's a promotion, opening a business, whatever that thing is, to just say congratulations, because I've experienced where I've had some friends that I tell them something, they're like, oh, okay. And that's it. That's all. I'm like, oh, I'm like, but when you tell me something, you want this big old celebration and we need to get together, we need to have drinks and all this. I'm like, but when it's your turn, you don't reciprocate that.
Yeah.
So I've learned, okay, I know who truly are, my friends and women who actually want, each other to go above and beyond.
Yes. Yes. And I think it's important too as a woman to be taught, be teachable, to be open to it, because also we can be from a situation where we're so used to people giving an opposition to us that we can kind of put ourselves alone, and that leaves us not to accept possibly that mentorship, or possibly not align ourselves with the right people, I'll say, because you want people who fit in with your dream. If I'm going somewhere, I want people who fit in with that dream of where I'm going. I don't want someone who don't know the vision or doesn't have the vision. So I want to be able to lock up with those people as well, but I also want someone who knows what it looks like for whatever I want. And I can see how, I like that word worthy, because a lot of people don't feel as though they're worthy. For a long time, I was like, well, who am I to ask? Or who am I to say anything? And sometimes I was even like, oh, I should be just thankful. And so that the worthy piece is important, to know that you are worthy of something better. And now I think in my mind, if it's something that I have here or here, then it should be mine. And I am
Mm-hmm.
worthy of it.
Definitely.
But it's a tough deal for a woman.
It is. It really is. And I think how she said, I love that she says confidence is liquid gold, because it is. And I think and it's something that's built, really when you're a child, right? That's something that your parents, not that as a parent you have to teach them, but as a parent you have to encourage them and you have to be there and you have to push them, and that's how someone builds confidence. Someone says society has created this environment of competition for both men and women, but women are definitely more affected. Yes,
True.
definitely.
It is. It
Mm-hmm.
is. Because we even get caught up on what something looks like, on what a person looks like, has nothing to do with like what their value is, but what they look like. They got a big butt, they got brown eyes. That has nothing to do with them being able to do their job. Their hair is long. It just has that. But you're like, what does that have to do with me being competent at my job? Or
Mm-hmm.
that person is attractive. Or I've even heard in my life, over attractive. And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
how can you be over attractive for a position?
Wow, I've
So
never heard of that.
right, right. So you're like, what does that have to do with anything and with my competence? And how would that, if I was a man and I came in here, with my slacks and my Oxford on, why can't I be not measured the same way? And better than that, I went through an MBA program, a business program at a very good university. And what I was told when I went to talk to the dean about some situations that I had some issues with, I was told basically you have two things that you are overlooking. in your picture. What was he talking about? My ethnicity and me being a woman.
Yep. I tell everyone all the time, I said, not only do I have to deal with the fact that I'm a woman, I have to deal with the fact that I am a Latina woman, and also have to work through that I'm a Latina woman with depression and anxiety.
Right.
So, with all of that together, there's already a stigma or this idea that women cannot hold powers of leadership. They're too emotional, they're too this or that or whatever, flamboyant, what have you. They're too much. And then, but then you add the Latina part, and it's like, oh, then the word spicy gets thrown in there. And then, of course, we already know there's a stigma with mental health. So, when do you ever open up really truly and honestly to your employer, to your supervisor, hey, I have depression and anxiety. If and ever I feel X, I will let you know, or what have you, if I need support. But how do you have those conversations without feeling like you're putting yourself in a position of vulnerability, as well as a position of, man, they're going to think that I'm not fit for this job.
Right, right. And unfortunately, you know what, Jackie, I don't think that we're ready for those discussions in the workplace. Now, it is against the law for them to discriminate against those factors. But in the workplace, I believe that it is too, because it could be a catch, and you don't know which way the catch is going to go, because it could be a manager that uses that information against you, or it could be a manager that's supportive. So that is a really and it's a good one, because a lot of people have some type of mental health concerns, and are in the workplace, and it's no different from health concerns, correct? But the thing is, how ready are we as a society to be able, because you got to think of it, we're still talking about we shouldn't show emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
People make you
Yeah.
mad, you shouldn't even let them know that you shouldn't cry. Of course, when that guy told me that, because in that management program, I was really thinking my idea of management was to get the tools that I need to have a business, run a business, and take care of my family, right? It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't necessarily for me to think of, as he hit me with in his office, you're a black woman. What's wrong with you? Why didn't you go into education? Why didn't you continue with counseling? You see? And of course, I that hurt my feelings. And
Yeah.
once I got to thinking about it, I was like, wow. And then I thought, you know what? A lot of people think like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the only one. He's just telling me the obviouses that I have overlooked, and I'm the
Yeah.
one living it.
Mm-hmm. And yeah,
Because
and it is why it's important to be vocal and confident, as someone said, um, and doing it respectfully. But we do have to speak up. And yes, and if you meet anyone, in the community, I know a lot of different nonprofit leaders and just community leaders in general. They will let you know. They will tell you, oh, Jackie's, she speaks up when it comes to mental health education, and she shares her story. And I am very vocal out in the community and in rooms, certain rooms I've never thought I would be in, or just in community meetings. I always am vocal, but I think it's still difficult, to be vocal in the workplace, as you said. It maybe to your colleague, maybe perhaps if you trust that person, but when it comes to having that conversation with your supervisor, is that something that's going to stay between your supervisor and you? Is it going to stay between them? Are they going to keep it to themselves, or are they going to go say something? Because technically they should keep it to themselves, because that's something personal, medical, that I'm sharing directly with you, just so that you're aware, And if you ever see me in a certain headspace or see me off, you know why. You know, oh, something's going on, and we can work accordingly. Depending on my current, what I can handle and what I cannot handle at that time as far as workload goes. And I've had employers like that have been understanding, but others that are like, you just need to get medication, you just need to go to therapy and do the work. And it's like, okay, but that doesn't happen from one day to the next or one week to the next. That takes time. And I think that employers have to do more than just saying, okay, we'll give you time to go to therapy, or we'll let you leave early, or whatever it is that so that you can go to therapy, go for your appointments. I think also there has to be a level of empathy, not sympathy, but empathy, to where they say, you know what, we said that we would, for the next 3 weeks, try to see exactly where you are, see if what I've given you as a guide or as tools, or this list that I've given you to do but in 3 weeks, if you can handle that. And if at that point there's no progress after a week and a half, then I think it's the employer's duty to say, you know what, this is not working, so I'm gonna go ahead, and what do you think if you take a leave? Your position will be here when you get back, but I think that a leave would do you very well, and take that time off. And I think that's something that employers have to do better at. But again, they're not ready to really have those conversations and do anything more than just a wellness Wednesday and here's a yoga video or here's some tips. Like, it's way more than just doing that for your employees, because the fact of the matter is, like we've talked before, that ever since the pandemic, the mental health crisis has skyrocketed, and no one really has had honest conversations about it. But yeah, FMLA and a leave is definitely the next step in these situations. And yep, it is. But me, as one of my employers, they gave it 2 weeks, and they're like, okay, you're terminated, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. And it's like, but you knew exactly what's going on with me. I'm vocalizing exactly what is wrong, that the work is too much, can someone help me? I'll do the work, I'll go out and do what I'm supposed to be doing, outreach, engaging with partners, but I just can't input it. It's too much for me. Small tasks for someone, it may not seem difficult to input data, right? But when you're in the depression in that moment, that task is overbearing. Even sending an email is a lot. So, and the employer knew, and they still decided that they were going to terminate me, despite knowing everything that was going on with me. Yeah. So I think that that correlates as well.
Yeah. And not only that, Jackie, what I was thinking about again is, like I said, I was a parent of four children. Parents also, I've been discriminated against with jobs. And it wasn't based upon, of course, if I got the interview, that meant I met the criteria. But once I started talking about my children, right, that began to be an issue. I've been discriminated as a woman with housing. Once I state I have children, guess what? Again, it was an issue. So there's several ways you can look at that. So it's, not just mental health, but it could be several different things that women have to deal with, And I know there's single fathers out there, but as a single mother, I've had that experience. Well, can my schedule be this or this? Because of course I have children, so I have an obligation there as well. And I've heard.
So what I've actually heard is that while not on paper, there are a lot of employees, and I've been asked before too, as a woman, do I have children? Like, they don't even ask the man that, because it doesn't matter for them. There's like, the man, he's going to leave the kids with their moms or whoever's going to take care of them. But one of the deciding factors for a lot of people to even get a job, a woman to get a job, is if she has children and what their ages are. And that's not even it has nothing to do with the job, but what a recent interview had said is that it's more than likely that the person will not show up for work if the kid is sick, which
Right.
shouldn't even be a reason in the first place. You would want a person, even as a woman, we would actually put more into a company that honors our roles as moms.
Right.
We'll put
Right.
more forward into it. But yes, they will actually act. That's why it's a reason. They said the child kid is sick and we don't have daycare, we're not going to take off. Now, there are single fathers that do the same thing, but it's not the expectation of the father. They figured he'll just give it to the wife or his
Right.
mom. So that's a
Right.
big thing as well.
Right. And it is an unethical question for that interviewing person to do. It's against the law, actually, just as it
Yeah,
is.
there's always ways to ask about it around leaving pictures of stuff on their table. They're like, oh, that's a cute kid, or small talk. A lot of times they get it under small talk. Oh, you got kids? Yeah. My son gets on my nerves. I need to get out of here. You know how it is, don't you? Yeah, I do too. My kids get on my nerves too. How old are your kids? They're actually asking inquire.
Right. That's good. And that's pretty clever that you caught on, because
Mm-hmm.
it's unethical. It's
Mhm.
unethical for them to even ask you about your mental health. Those things are all personal and private information, and it's actually against the law for them to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
So just be
Yeah.
aware of that, because as she said, they can be very clever, but those are things that affect us as women, issues that we do have. But this is what PTO is for, in personal time that shouldn't be the
Okay,
deciding
so
factor for the kids. And I
Well,
agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah.
yes, but depending on what position the woman is in, they're a manager, a supervisor, the executive leader, or director role, they are going to do everything in their power to not utilize that PTO because they don't want to seem as, less than, or also they don't want to seem, they don't want to have to come back with so much work either, because I've seen it where I have friends who are in director and executive director roles, women, and when they come back to work, all the work is waiting for them there. No one picks it up. So
mm-hmm.
there's also that factor. But I can also speak on the male counterpart, like use my husband as an example with his job. Well, one of his previous jobs, he was like, no. They asked him. He asked or something about using his PTO, and they're like, oh no, well, there's a lot of work to do. Like, you can't take the time off. And I said, they can't tell you that. And I know job cannot say no to you utilizing your PTO or vacation time. That's what it's there for, to be used. And it's, but also it depends on the person. The person just doesn't like to utilize their time off. They're like, no, I have to work. I miss a day. I miss a lot as well. But there are employers where they're like, no, there's too much work to be done. You shouldn't take the time off. Or no, not that week, but during this time you can, or come in on your day off. So these things also happen, the overworking, not letting them take breaks, when they have every right to take the break, and then making the employees feel like it's a bad thing to take time off as well.
Most jobs have a workforce that decides time off, but depends on the size of the company, I think. Yes, because they'll definitely get shut down. The last one I mentioned, I worked for Amazon, and you, by law, in the Pacific, every 2 hours, and I believe everywhere, every 2 hours you get a 15-minute break.
Mm-hmm.
They were giving us 5-minute breaks.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a big issue, and it wasn't until I had got a lot of people to agree with me that in order to call up the state and get someone to come down there, that they changed it to, they said that we only actually allowed to give you 10-minute breaks, but their 10-minute breaks started from the time they blew the whistle. But we were in a factory, and in order to go to the resting area, the food area, or even the restroom, it was almost a 5-minute walk away. So in reality, we're only getting a 5-minute break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So those are a lot of other things. A lot of things I've seen people quit. And we only had one restroom for the women and one restroom for the guys. And it was Amazon's a used company. Can you imagine how many people did not get a chance to drink water and go to the restroom during those 5 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people in one bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
There was only 3 stalls in each bathroom.
That's a lot of people in one restroom. Yeah, yeah. So I wanted to ask, like, because we're talking about mentorship, what is a definite mentorship experience that you guys have had in your lifetime?
The experience with a mentor.
Yes.
I have a great mentor to this day. I still consider her my mentor, and it's been great. She pulled out of me skills that were already there, but that I needed some coaching on how to really, utilize them. Like I had them, I just wasn't really didn't have that coaching to use them the right way, I guess if that's the correct word. Or me thinking that I didn't have the skill set and her coaching me like you have the ability, you have the capability to do these things. Just practice. And why? Because after you do it so many times, it then becomes a habit and then it's instilled in you. So I've had a great experience, and that's just one person that, I've had a mentor. My mom was a mentor as well. She was amazing. She always told me to stand up for what I believe, be your authentic self. So anywhere and everywhere I go, I'm authentically myself. I'm some people's cup of tea and other people's I'm not, and I'm okay with that.
Yes. So, so growing up, I didn't really have many mentors. Uh, Surprisingly, my first mentor, I would have to say, was actually my stepdad. I would have to say that because he stood up where, and took care of children during a time where a lot of big things were about guys not taking care of, children that wasn't there. So he taught me a lot because he was hardworking, um, very working, loving, and he loved us, me and my older siblings, undoubtedly. However, when it comes to mentors outside of family, I am very good friends with one of my mentors now, and we met her through a mutual mentor, and she started out as a mom's mentor, which is really great because I was struggling after having my youngest son on how to pivot my business online, especially during COVID. And she showed me how to show up online, how to juggle being a mom with children of different ages while homeschooling. And also when I had left my job, and she's like, "Dude, this is how we're going to have to do it." And the best advice that she has gave me wasn't about work-life balance. She said, "We don't live in balance. Nothing's ever balanced. We live in seasons, and some things get more time than others, and that's okay." And that really helped out a lot for me. And we still speak to this day.
Love it. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I love that. And I like that you said that it was a male as well, along with the female, because I've had female and male mentors as well. And then it's not just one race either. I'd
Mm.
like to mention that as well, because I've had some pretty good, uh, different multicultural experiences with people who have mentored me through different processes. And I can see how it is seasons,
Mhm.
because different things and guiding. So that's kind of my experience as well with mentors. Now, I think going back to what Jackie said, as a woman, what would be our barrier of asking help? What are we fearful of? I think that when we say we have we can't ask for help, it has to be some type of thought pattern with that. What is some of our barriers when we want to ask for help and we don't?
I think it could have to do with your culture, because with us Hispanic, Latina women, I think is we're supposed to be able to do it all. and we're supposed to carry all the way as far as it comes to, taking care of the kids, all their needs, even your spouse's needs, like making appointments for everyone. That's including yourself, and having to push through it. That's what we're taught. Like, you have to do it no matter what, and you don't get any help really. Um, this notion of help is new. It's modern. It's these days, because my mother-in-law helps me a lot. She is my ultimate person that I lean on, especially I don't have my mom. So, she passed away 7 years ago. So with not having my mom, with my dad that works full time, my brother works as well. They'll help when they're able to, but majority of the time it's my mother-in-law who I'm leaning on. When they were infants, she was going to the appointments with me because my husband was at work. So she was with me going to all the appointments up until I could be able to move, on my own after 40 days. But so for me, I think it's culture, but it's very new to have a village. But ultimately, that's what we should have. We should have a village, people to lean on, and it should be something that's instilled in the workplace. Like, you have your go-to. This is your mentor. This is your coach. This is someone you can go to should you need any help. Of course, you have your supervisor, but I think that workplace need that. I've had only one job where I've had that, only one place. And that mentor is the person who I'm saying is my friend to this day, and she's still my mentor. And we work in two completely different places.
Mentor worth keeping.
Yeah.
I have to agree with Jackie. While it's culture based, I think there's a lot of cultures that share that similar aspect of when women take the heavy load at home, and we don't get off. Our working with the children in the home is 24/7. So the Latin community, with the African American community, with the Muslim Islamic community, I've noticed, and a lot of the African American community as well here in America, I noticed that deeply. There's so much to like, even to the point where if you have a child and you have to return back to work within 6 weeks, you're still expected, and we're still so sore to go to work, take care of the kids, cook, clean, have everything done. Saturday's not a day off. Everybody else saying, TGIF Friday, but what does that mean? It means you don't clock in to work that pays you for your work or for your time. But that doesn't mean you don't get off at home. And I believe that's a huge, huge thing. And also when it comes to not asking or reaching out for help, I believe it also comes from a fear of owing. Because if you have somebody, you may not know the right person as a manager to get to what you need at work, but you might know a colleague. And a lot of people, we don't want to feel like we owe them.
Wow.
And it is culture related, and a lot of it is like past trauma. So we feel as though like, hey, I get you that position. Remember that time I gave you or helped you out with such, so they don't want that. So we tend not to ask for help. And we try to figure it out, or we just decide it's not worth it.
Wow.
You hit the nail on the head with owing, because I came to find out with therapy that she was like, you don't ask for help because you feel that you need to reciprocate that help. But if they've offered the help, they've offered already. So do not be scared to ask them for help. I was like, well, I don't want to feel like I'm just reaching out, after, 2 months of not talking, maybe because I've been in my season of depression. But now I'm like, I need a night out with my husband. And I know I've had people, friends that are like, oh, if you need a night out, like, just ask me. I'll go take care of them. I'll take care of them at your house, since it'll be easier, because that's their environment that they're used to. But I was like, I don't know why I can't. She's like, it's because you feel like you owe them, but they already said yes, so just ask.
Wow. The obligation of meeting. And because I'm just asking this because, like I said, just asking. It's certainly been times in my life that I just didn't say anything, and I may have needed help. Right, I'm drowning, and so I'm thinking, why would I rather drown? And I never did process it to the fact of saying, okay, I may owe you, but that's possibly some of it, in our community. And I know in certain, micro communities, that's what it is as well. Because if people do something for you, you do owe them, right? They got a hands up on you.
Mhm.
Uh, so I think, and all of this does it makes being really a woman in today's world very difficult. Um, and I guess the other thing, if we have another video, Jackie?
Yes, we do.
Okay, that says because you are a giver, Jackie, most strong
I
people don't know how to ask and sit back and be taken
care of.
care of. This is also me. Yeah,
I am.
yeah,
I'm
I
a
can.
giver and I'm a people pleaser.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
do want to add in to most people that are givers, most people that are people pleasers, and most people that love to give, there's also a main thing that ties us all together. We don't want to feel like or be an inconvenience.
that's
Mm,
right. That's right. That's right. That's
yes,
right.
yes. So
All
we
right, well, let's go ahead and do this last video because I think it's going to be loaded with some information as well.
Okay.
so let me get to it. Okay, here we go.
That give government the power to make decisions about the male body,
Um, I'm happy to answer a more specific question. But
male versus female.
there are medical procedures.
Okay? That the government has the power to make a decision about a man's
Oh,
body.
I thought you were asking about medical procedures that
No,
are unique to men.
I'll repeat the question. Can you think of any laws that give the government the power to make decisions about the male body?
I'm not thinking of any right now, Senator.
Can you think of any laws that give government the power to make decisions about
All right. What do y'all
So
think about that?
I he couldn't think of none at that moment. He ain't gonna think of none tomorrow, and he didn't think of none the day before. And they did not tell him that was gonna be on the question card. He did not correct him.
oh yeah.
Well, and yeah, it's pretty powerful. I when I seen it, I was like, wow, it isn't. It is none. It is none. They're
No
not voting to say when can a man become what is it that they do to them so they can't have children anymore?
vasectomy.
Yeah, they're not voting on that and giving us the opportunity to say if they can get one or not, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if you do get one, it's going to be out against the law, if you cross county borders or whatever. But here, that's what they've started doing.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's crazy to me that there has to be laws in place for a woman to make a decision about her own body,
Hmm.
and and what I'm referring to is abortions, birth control, all these different things, and it's like for me to each their own. If that's what someone has to do for themselves because they can't afford the child or they're not in a place to be able to have a kid, or maybe a rape was involved, like that is completely their decision. I do not understand why those conversations have to be had by the government and decisions being made by men, really.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's decisions being made by people who who would never home house a child and will not usually do the brunt of the work of raising that child. So, and it blows my mind how big it's gotten. But even before then, there was always a underlying thing that a woman that wanted to get her tubes tied in the hospital, the doctor would ask her husband, even if she's already filled out the form, "Is this what you sure y'all want?" Yes, I just said I want my tubes tied. I'm not talking to him, but these are my tubes, you know? Or she, in a lot of places, they won't allow you to do it if you only have one kid.
Yep.
This is my right. This is my body. If I decided later on I regretted it, so be it. It's my choice. But whose right else is it to tell me what I can and not do with my body? And it's weird because, for the women who feel as though they want to stop for that reason early, because they know that they cannot mentally, physically, emotionally, or financially take care of any other child, that are not giving that opportunity and does fall pregnant later on. Now she doesn't have the right or choice in certain states to free herself of that. And then what's going to happen later? They're wondering like, oh, she's on government. She should get a job. She should have did this. Where were you? All these people that are supposed to be helping out when she needed help then, and where are you now once the child is born? Those mouths that scream and speak, the people that encourage or discourage, are only vocal when they have nothing to do with it. And it doesn't affect you. It's like my dad used to call keyboard warriors. And that goes for people in the government seat.
Now, with the politics of this, we both where we all we all represent people who are not represented, right? And even in that little clip, you could see she was asking white men, right? And we weren't represented there as well. So I just want to throw this out because they passed a lot of laws that are going to affect women, families, and still, and it's still trickling.
Mm-hmm.
We need more women to go out and get on these ballots.
We need more women in those places to get them off those seats.
That's right. We need more women. We need you to come on, and so we can put you in those places to represent us. I don't know if we're talking to some of them, but we need to be represented in those places. Like Jackie said, in some of those rooms that we're not, some of those discussions that we're not. That's our rights as citizens of this country, but we're not operating in them, and they're making it the way they're really pushing us out. So
Yes.
we really need to be aware that they're making the windows smaller and smaller.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Also, when they're doing like rezonings as well, people don't really think that affects, but it does if you look at how they're strategically rezoning and then they changing, they're trying to make it to where it's the benefit maybe to the city council member, right? For those votes that they want, that they know that they'll get by rezoning, certain areas. So I want to say, as someone newly in the nonprofit, nonpartisan civic engagement world, that voting is everyone's right. If you are a citizen, if you are 18 and over, um, even if you've had a felony, but you have already cleared everything out, you're not on probation, you're not on parole, you can vote. And if you're not registered to vote, go get registered to vote. So, and people don't know this. And your vote does matter. Let's say you don't want to vote Democrat or Republican, vote for the person that's standing alone, or know that you don't even have to check something off as well on certain sections. If you're like, I don't want to vote for neither of these individuals, I don't stand for either of them, then you don't have to choose either of them. You don't have to. That's your right on your ballot. That's your ballot. You get to check off on there what you want to check off on. But any vote not for the Democrat or not for the Republican is a vote and that doesn't go to them. It doesn't benefit them. If you're voting for the independent standing person, even if they have a low percentage rate of winning, it might surprise us if more people get out there and say, you know what, no, we need someone that's completely neither left or right, that is non-biased. And I think really that's who we need. But honestly, I don't think either parties on either side, they're really not for their constituents. Either way it goes as well. So it's just a lot of this year is going to really determine how the next few years are going to look. And if we don't get out there to vote, it's going to get real ugly. And it's going to be a lot of laws that are going to be being passed that are going to be affecting women, that are going to be affecting LGBTQ community, that are going to be affecting people of color. Like, there's a lot of laws that are going to be passed if we don't go out there and vote, so that we know who I'm talking about does not president again.
Well, and it's certain. What the reason why I brought it is, that's true in projection, but they already passed some local laws, and the local laws is that if you don't have whatever party on that ballot to represent your party, then you don't get to vote. And that's already has went across our nation. So a lot of people didn't even get to vote in their primary, and they didn't know it. When any citizen that wants to challenge that office can come in and put themselves on that ballot, and they need to do that. And as community, you need to pull together with your community and get you some leaders in there, so at least you're represented. If you're not represented, then that is a Trump. I'm just gonna tell you, you didn't trump it. So that's what's happening. And that's unfortunately has already swept through our country, already has started. So basically what we got later on in November, we're going to have those different counties across our nation that are all Republican. That's all we got. And it's going to affect us all. I know the young people, they like to say, well, that we don't vote and we're not going to vote. People don't care. But the thing is, either way, we're going to be affected. Just like we're sitting here talking about reproduction. We put those people in office, or we allowed them to get in office. We're not represented, so we're not either. We didn't run for that office. Second, we didn't even vote. We gotta get busy on this, and and I'm just telling you the truth. We got to pay attention to what they're passing, because it's going to affect us. They pass all these laws, and we don't know nothing about them until after they come down to us, right?
Yes. So
Yep.
So just do your part. If you're able to vote, get out there and vote. Vote 411 is a good website if you want an easy to read what's on your ballot. It's really easy to navigate. But with just this goes for anyone, right? Whether you're a woman or man, speak up for yourself. Have confidence. Confidence is liquid gold, as she said in the video. And ask for help or seek a mentor. Someone may be already thinking about wanting to be a mentor, but they don't know how to go about it. And so just ask. Most of the time, people are willing to want to be mentors. So just you don't know if you don't ask. And we've come to the end of our episode for tonight. So I want to say thank you to Coach Imana for being here again with us. Let them know again where they can find you.
You can find me on Facebook under Imana Azeez, Instagram under Imana's Voice, Messenger, Imana Azeez as well. Or you can email me at 2 little words with an S at gmail.com.
Perfect. Thank you. And we will see you next month on the second Monday of the month, which will be July the 8th at 8 p.m. DM us, email us if there's anything specific that you would like for us to speak on. Or if you need any resources, don't hesitate to reach out to us on our podcast platforms, or Roberta the Tool Lady, or Jackie the Wellness Advocate, or Miss Imana Azeez said the same thing. You can reach out to the, DM us as well individually if there's anything that you need information on. Don't hesitate. And we hope that y'all have a good rest of y'all's nights and a good
Bye.
week.
Good night.